Internets, welcome back to another episode of the Premium Pete Show. Finally, sitting down here with my guy, okay? A producer, a rapper, a good fella, a sneaker fiend.
Right.
A father.
Slash DJ. Right.
Well, actually, that's where it all started from.
No doubt. I started off as a DJ.
Diamond D is in the building.
All right.
We finally made this happen, man. I was thinking back, and it's funny, whenever I do these episodes that we did with Combat and Rest in Peace, I always think of it's like I want to do them, but at the same time, I'm like, damn, man, like we created gold at that time.
Right.
You know, at that time, I remember when you came on, like I remember even listening, like you were proud to be on.
No doubt.
You were happy. You knew it was a circuit that was pure and special and and
that's why I'm back here right now.
Yeah, and that means a lot, man. That means a lot. Who's at the door? Who's at the door here? Okay. So how are you?
Okay.
So when I think about it, I'm like, damn, man, it's ever hard. It's always hard when we have people that I really enjoyed the episode we did with Combat, but rest in peace to our brother Combat Jack.
Yes, sir.
First and foremost, man, I want to bring people who, I always say this, for people who don't know of somebody, like for people who don't know of Diamond D, I want to let them know. For people who do know, maybe they could learn a thing or two.
Okay.
So we're going to start I want to start even from, you were born in the Bronx, right?
Yes.
Mom and dad, right?
That's right.
Now, what did mom do?
My mom worked at Lord & Taylor, actually.
Yo, it's crazy, too.
Yeah.
Yeah. My mother-in-law works at Lord & Taylor, still to this day.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And my father, he held it down, doing various jobs or whatever. But, my mom worked at Lord & Taylor.
Did she get the discount on Polo?
Yeah, all of that.
Yo,
all of that.
We'll jump around, but you even think about something so classic like stunts, blunts, and hip hop.
Right.
And you think about the front cover. I always talk about this. I talked about this with Combat. I mean, many people in the circuit will know about you wearing the Bordeaux Jordan 7s.
That's right. They had just came out.
On front of the cover. 1992, am I correct?
92, no doubt.
And it's crazy to me that when I look back at sneakers and hip-hop albums like Kid and Play,
right,
they were wearing Jordan 3s.
Yeah.
In front of those cars.
That's right.
There was a couple of people that really cemented streetwear,
right,
sneakers, and hip-hop.
Right.
That stands out for a lot of sneaker lovers.
Oh, no doubt.
What made, was that something you just were like, yo, I'm gonna wear these?
I didn't have no stylist. You know what I mean?
Back then, yeah, for sure.
You know what I mean? So, what I had on is just, some everyday shit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But I didn't know at the time that I would be making a statement.
Yeah. How many people come up to you and told you over the years, like, yo, that.
A lot.
What's up, sir?
Oh, man, Static. Yes, sir. All right. What's going on, Static?
What's up, baby?
Big T.
When you wore those Bordeaux 7s, like, there was no stylist, like you were saying at that time.
No, there were stylists.
Okay, they were. That's right. Yeah.
But I actually had a label rep, and she helped me get that leather Dapper Dan jacket. But everything else was me.
Oh, did they get? That's right. Dapper Dan was making that in for you?
Of course. This is 92, so this is like when Dapper Dan went underground.
How much was something like that at that time?
I don't remember, but I told the label what I wanted, and they got that green leather jacket for me, which I still have.
To crush the outfit.
Right.
You think back of, it's funny because I was telling you off air, your career as a DJ, as a producer, as a rapper, and even as a person has been special. And sometimes I think, like, when you're living your own life, you don't realize how inspiring that is to others or how special it is. Like, I think back to, and I know your career very well, but I think back to even, like, when you were producing.
Right.
And running around, what's this guy's name? Joe, who's the dude you were
Joe
producing?
Control?
Joe Control.
Right.
Man, that's classic. That's old school.
Yeah.
But, I remember hearing this story where you were showing somebody some beats, and you happened to be on one of the
joints.
On one of the joints, and you wanted them to fast forward through it.
Right.
And they were like, tell that story. Yeah.
Well, actually, I was producing for an artist named Joe Control out of the Bronx, over there on Simpson Street, pardon me. And he had a possible situation at the record label at the time, which was PWL Records. They had Ed O.G. He had a big song with what's the name of that Ed O.G. song? I Got to Have It.
Okay.
Pardon me. And I was doing his demos. So the A&O at the time, his name was Brian Chin.
Mm.
And Brian heard the demos of Joe, and he told Joe, hey, listen, who's this guy rapping on one of these joints? You know, bring him down here. And Joe was like, well, he's the producer also. He just spit on one joint. And I wound up going down there, and then they basically just made me an offer. And I let
But that shit wasn't weird to you? Like, you know?
It was weird because, like, you know, like, you're supposed to be focused on Joe Control.
Yeah.
I was just doing his beats. You know, I was in the group called Ultimate Force at that time.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
But did you know the business to do that, to become an artist? Meaning, like, did you get yourself a lawyer? Did you know, like, how this shit worked?
No. I had the funds to get me a lawyer. At this point, I had already produced Lord Finesse first album, or half of it.
The Funky Technician.
I did 5 joints on there with Showbiz and DJ Premier. Shout out to Premier. So I was, you know, I already had a little bit of money coming in. So I did get a lawyer. But it's just weird that you come across a situation like that where you're the producer of an artist who got a demo deal from these guys, and then he goes back with the demos, and they say, well, who's this guy rhyming on one of these joints? You know what I mean? So shouts out to Joe Control. He could have just not said anything to me.
Yeah.
And then, you know,
he could have held that and be like, you know, he could have blocked it.
Of course.
You know, respectfully.
No doubt. Like I'm the one you're supposed to be paying attention to.
Yeah.
Y'all want me to bring the dude down here who's rhyming on the joint?
Hey, listen, there's people like that, even in sneakers. Like, you know, we were talking obviously about stunts, blunts and hip hop.
Right.
I remember there was a dude from LES in Avenue A, and he used to throw out his Jordans, and they were brand new.
Oh, wow.
After he buy another pair. And I'm like,
Right.
why you throw them out?
Right.
I'm like, you could give them to somebody,
Right.
you know, that may need them. He's like, nah, fuck that. He's like, I don't like anybody in my neighborhood. I don't like any, you know.
Okay,
and he had this attitude where he was like, yo, nobody
He
cares
had
about
his
me.
reasons.
Yeah.
Okay.
But what I'm saying is there could be people who operate, yo, I'm here for me, man. I don't even know what you're talking about right now.
Right.
So it's crazy that shit, I remember you saying, like, it kind of, like, fell in your lap. But at the same time, your talent, you know, afforded that. You know what I mean? Like, people heard something.
Right.
You know, your voice was smooth. You knew how to put rhymes together. And at the same time, too, your production was crazy.
No doubt.
I think back, too. I remember hearing you went to college, and you know, and it's
Oh,
funny.
Westbury.
Yeah, you know, I remember you saying that if you could have went away further, you would have went. Say something like that.
If I would have went away further, I might have hit the books harder. But being that I went to Old Westbury, which is just a 35-minute ride from Penn Station out in Long Island, I was still around the block, which kind of helped me get on music-wise because I was still able to go to a lot of those recording sessions for the Ultimate Force.
Yeah.
Which I was a DJ in that group. So, you know, if had I went away, who's to say what would have happened?
I remember also hearing your mom, and you dropped out of college. I know that they weren't happy, and I remember.
Nah, she wasn't happy at all.
2 techniques
for
$1,000.
Oh yeah,
And she said, "Wait, hold up. You just spent $1,000 on record players, and you're like, Mom, these ain't no record players."
Right. Hey, listen, my mom, you know, she sacrificed a lot. She sent me to private school from 1st to 12th grade. You know, I wanted to go to public school with all my niggas, you know what I mean? She sacrificed a lot for me, you know what I mean? And then for me to drop out of high school to do some music shit, nah, she was not happy at all. You know what I mean? She wasn't happy at all until I got the front end of my budget, which maybe in 92 might have been like, I had like a $60,000 budget, so I brought home a check for $30,000.
Yeah.
Which was slightly under what she made. My mom might have made about $45,000 back then.
That was a lot. That was decent money. I mean, you
in
know,
92,
back then,
no doubt. But, you know, for me to bring home a check in that size, it showed her that, you know, damn, you know, it might be some.
He might be onto something.
Right, exactly. You know what I mean? So that's how that played out.
Was there any other moments in your deals and, you know, different labels and different albums that you were able to do something for her or show her something even more? You know, sometimes where people, you're able to take them on a trip or, because keep in mind too, and I said this to Law Finesse too and a couple other people
Right.
from your era, especially D.I.T.C, Digging in the Crates, legendary, you know, group, man. You got to think about this. Y'all traveled the world, man. Like, you know, going to Prague and Poland and
Right.
Warsaw. What the fuck? Who would have thought of it? I mean, I'm from Brooklyn. Going to Japan, thinking of like that, I was like, what the fuck is this? You know, maybe some people who are wealthy or rich, like,
Right.
believe like, yeah, this is supposed to happen. Like, you travel the world,
Right.
for producing,
Down the line.
for
but
yeah,
yes.
for your lyrics, for doing, you know what I mean, for you.
Yeah, no doubt. So you know that was real rewarding.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Now, mom, is mom still around?
Oh yeah, of course.
And so she was able to experience a lot, you know, see this come to life.
Yes, she saw from the beginning. You know what I mean? Just from me, you know, allowing me to play my music, you know, growing up in the room late at night, you know, she put up with a lot.
Yeah.
And I didn't realize it at the time, but as an adult, as I sit here right now with you, you know, I do realize it. You know what I mean? You know, my mom put up with a lot of shit.
Yeah. Blessings to mom, man.
Of course.
Now, what about Pops? You and Pops had a good relationship?
Me and my father had a good relationship. You know, he was locked up for a while, but our relationship was strong. You know what I mean? He passed away in 1994.
Rest in peace.
Yeah.
He taught you anything that still sticks with you?
Taught me how to play chess.
Yeah. Hey, listen, that's when you were away. Shit, I've been away. I remember I had to learn how to play chess.
Right.
And then when they thought, you know, I'm Italian, but when they thought I was Spanish, I had to learn how to play dominoes quick too, because they were like, yo, you want to use it? When I came in, they're like, yo, Poppy, you know,
Right.
they're like,
Poppy,
that's
yeah.
our phone right there.
I can see them calling you Poppy too.
Yeah, they were like, yo, that's our phone right there. You could
Right.
use our phone and you know, get yourself changed, come down, play some dominoes. I was like, fuck. I remember being in the cell, like I was like, fuck, man, I don't know how to play dominoes, man.
Right.
I don't know what to do, but yeah. Now, you know, I asked that about Pops too because, you know, growing up, I didn't have the greatest relationship with Pops. Now, it's even better.
Nice.
But there's memories and there's moments that'll always stick with me forever.
Right.
Like us, you know, he's a big Giant fan, you know, and those 2 Super Bowls, man. I remember I was with him and we were hugging each other, and he was so happy because he grew up a Giants fan.
Okay.
And I remember, like, even one day, like when because of him, I became a Giant fan, and I was like, yo, why don't we go to a game? And he's like, you know, I usually like staying home. I'm like, fuck that. I remember going on like some website at the time. This is years ago, and you know, maybe it was Ticketmaster, I don't know, but and getting like 50-yard line, like fifth row.
Right.
And I was like, yo, how's this guy never been here before? Because, you know, we grew up like, if we want something nice, we're gonna go to the steak, get the knife fillet, you know what I mean?
Of course.
And he was more of like, you know, subtle, you know what I
Right.
mean? So I was glad to be able to do those things for him.
Indeed.
Yeah. But so now Pops was able to see some of your success, yeah?
Of course. He passed away in 94, you know what I mean? But he was able to see, you know, some of the earlier success. And you know he was proud of me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So,
you know, back on this legendary album, Stunts, Blunts, and Hip Hop.
Okay.
People call it a classic, but I remember last time we were sitting down, you told me that it wasn't even gold. Is it gold yet?
I don't know. I really don't know.
It's crazy because I remember. I
really don't know.
I
I have to check the sound scans, but I really don't. It should be at this point.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But I honestly don't know. But I know when it came out, you know, it's one of those albums that it grew on people when it came out because of the label situation and maybe some other factors. It didn't really take off. It's one of those albums that people just came to love over the course of time. You know what I mean? So, you know, it is what it is.
Do you remember your first time traveling international?
I do.
Where'd you go?
I went over to Europe. This is like 1997.
Fuck.
Yeah, 97. I went over there, and there was a club in
passport? You got your passport?
Of course. There was a club in the UK called the Subterranean. All my people out there in the UK, y'all know what I'm talking about.
Bring them back the fuck out there.
All you real hip-hop motherfuckers out there, y'all know what I'm talking about. You know what I mean? But that was the first year, like 1997, and that showed me the love that hip hop had internationally. I had always heard about it, but that was my first time experiencing it.
Yeah, I love that shit. You know, I love international hip hop love because unlike growing up in New York, you know, I grew up in Brooklyn, you grew up in Bronx.
Right.
For some reason, I feel like we got to preface things before we say, yo, I don't mean to dick rod, but I really love your album here. Like, you don't need to say that.
Right.
Them, you know, out there, they just love it.
Right.
They appreciate you.
Right. They don't have those boundaries.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
They're not gonna be like, yo, I hope you know you don't think I'm dick riding. No, they appreciate what the fuck you did and what you contributed.
Exactly.
And it's funny because I think like international, it's amazing how an older artist who's been around for a long time could still go there. I mean, look what finesse you.
Yeah, of
I
course.
mean, still out there, still packed out with people.
That's because we laid our foundation out
early,
there,
planted the
I mean?
seeds.
Exactly.
Planted the seeds. Now, what about like? Did you ever say to yourself? I know you've been around doing a lot of things, still making music, and we'll get to that. Still doing everything.
Right.
But you ever say to yourself while you were in like Europe, like, what the fuck? I'm like, I can't believe I'm out here. You ever have a moment where you felt blessed? Like, I'm sure there's tough times, but you
of course, you know, rocking on stage in front of thousands of people, you know, and the crowd singing your rhymes with you. Of course, you feel that. You know what I mean? I mean, that's what we get into this for, to make a living, and you know, if you're lucky enough, the crowd knows your rhymes.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I mean, it was like the best of both worlds for me.
If you didn't become an artist, I remember you always telling me that you would have been good just from producing because you knew your beats were fire.
Right.
Now, it's funny because you wear all these different hats. Like, producer-wise, and I mean this respectfully, but I feel like you're very underrated as a producer.
Some people I am, too.
Yeah.
No question.
Yeah, some people, I feel like some people don't even know some of the production you've done.
Right.
Even just like, I mean, we could go.
Yeah, hold on, Pete.
Yeah,
you know, I've had a lot of people who found out joints I produced say, yo, D, I didn't know you did that.
Mm.
You know what I mean? So everything you're speaking is all factual and true.
Yeah, as they say now, factory.
Yeah.
but listen, even like, you think about it, Brand Nubian.
Right.
Punks jump up to get beat down.
Up.
Yo, a legendary track.
Mm-hmm.
How does even something like that even happen? For people listening who don't even know that you produced that way.
Right.
How did that even happen?
Okay, well, let's take it back to the beginning. There was a song on the Tribe Called Quest album, Low End Theory, called Show Business.
That you were on, right?
I'm on. I didn't produce that. Shouts out to Skeff Anselm. Skeff Anselm produced that track. But I rhymed on that track with Jamal and Sadat.
Tell the internets why you rhymed on there. Not only because you were nice, but...
Okay, well, the story goes that Pooh-Bah didn't want to do his verse over. And I was down there actually playing beats for Tip. I was trying to play beats for Tip, you know, to get on the low end theory. And Tip knew I had a situation. So he said, yo, D, you want to rhyme on the drink with the Nubians? And I'm like, hell yeah. You know what I mean? But I knew Tip from coming up to Jazzy J's studio in the Bronx at Strong City Records. I was in a group called The Ultimate Force. I was a DJ in this group. But fast forward to 1991, I was lucky enough to make that album, Low End Theory, with the Brand Nubians. And that, in hindsight, led to Lord Jamal and Sadat X getting on my album on a song called The Day in the Life.
Yep.
Okay. And what I've learned from them two is that being on that song, The Day in the Life, gave them the fortitude to say, hey, we can do this ourselves. Because evidently there was a rift between Lord Jamal and Grand Pooh-Bah at the time, but I was unaware of it.
Mm.
But all of these things led to Punk Jump Up to get beat down, which, you know.
Ain't nothing but a beat down.
Right. But that one song led to them getting the album deal or had some role into it. I can't take the full responsibility of it, but...
Yeah, but you contributed.
No doubt.
The beat is nasty, straight
No
up.
doubt.
This is not. I don't sit here and sugarcoat it.
No doubt.
Nobody could listen to that shit and not get their head nodding.
Right. But the point I want to make is that show business, A Day in the Life on Stunts, Butts, and Hip Hop, and Punks Jump Up gave Jamal and Pooh Bah the to say, yo, you know what? We can do this without Pooh Bah if we had to.
Yeah, Jamal and Sadat, right?
Yes, sir. Jamal and Sadat.
You know what's funny? Let me give you the internet who are listening to Combat Jack show fun fact. Some people know this, but there's only one guest who stood us up
Really?
out of all those years, and we
Okay.
sat down with everybody.
Right.
Grand Pooba. Yeah.
Pooh Bah.
Yeah, we were waiting.
Uh-huh.
And I said this before. You know Carlos from Classic Material. You ever heard of this dude? Spanish dude. He makes like a lot of those hats and tees.
Unsure.
Anyway, good dude. He was the one who was bringing Pooba. This
Right.
dude felt so bad. He was waiting outside. It was winter time for like 3 hours. And I looked at Combat. We in Combat. We're like drinking something. We're like, yo, tell him to come up. Like, yo, my man, it's all good. Don't we're good. Like our minds already left that. But yeah, that never happened. But it's funny because it's like,
Did he ever make it here since?
no.
Okay.
No. But it's all good. I wish he would have made it for Combat because Combat had. I mean, look, man, Pooba. And that's no disrespect to Pooba. Pooba's a legend, man.
Of course.
I mean,
he put Tommy Hilfiger on.
I was just gonna say that.
Of course.
Yo, the way he wore Tommy Hilfiger, like people look at Kanye West like with Yeezy, or you look at all these other like, Pooba was that, man. Pooba was that for Hilfiger, man.
Of course.
I remember going to buy Hilfiger because of Pooba.
That's right.
What's the 411?
That's right. But I knew him before that.
Yeah.
Because
shit.
I was signed to Strong City Records. He had that song with the Masters of Ceremony, Cracked Out and Sexy.
Yo.
Yes, sir.
Here's another story. Yo, you guys see this fucking guy. Yeah. Yo, I remember you saying. I keep on saying. Because I remember hearing all these fucking things. When you met Pooba, I remember he took a cab home, and you were like, yo, this motherfucker rich. Because I remember. Because I remember.
Listen. This is after Sexy.
Okay.
Sexy was a big hit record in the tri-state. Masters of Ceremony, featuring Don Barron.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe 2 or 3 years later, I'm working on my album, or maybe the Ultimate Force album. I don't know what it was. And I'm down on 125th Street with Pooh Bah. And Pooh Bah said, yo, I'm about to call me a cab to New Rochelle. Fuck. This is like 1990. So to me, I'm like, yo, Dogs is fucking rich. It might not sound like shit like right now.
Yeah, but back then.
Back then, I was like, yo.
And you were hopping the train at that time, right?
Of course.
Allegedly.
Oh yeah.
I mean,
1990.
Yeah.
No question.
Yeah.
No question.
Nah, but you know what's funny?
But it's funny now because it's nothing right now. You know what I mean? But back then, in 1990, for somebody to say on 125th Street, yo, I'm gonna jump in the cab and go to New Rochelle.
Yeah.
Was fucking amazing.
Yeah, that may be like 300.
Not Mount
200.
Vernon, New Rochelle.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, moments like that are the shit that, like, yo, here, check this out. And I keep on using his Combat shit because it's just some great memories. I remember, and I told this, I remember like a couple of us, I remember only having like a couple $100 in my bank account.
Right.
And Just Blaze, we were waiting for him. He was one of our co-hosts. I don't know if you remember that at that time. This is I think
Early on.
All right. He was one of our co-hosts, and they were like, yo, Just is coming. He just landed from his helicopter at the heliport, or the teleport. And I was like, yo, one of my co-hosts.
Heliport, right.
One of my co-hosts came here in a helicopter, and I got like $300 in my bank account.
Right.
I always felt that way where I was in the mix,
right?
So I can understand what you know what I mean, saying,
right.
like,
but not a part of it yet.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Let me ask you, when did you? I mean, money don't only have to do with it, but when did you feel like you belonged?
Maybe like 92. 92. I felt I belonged. You know what I mean? You know, I started making this. I started making a couple of coins. You know what I mean? I was able to move to a nicer neighborhood.
Where was that?
I left
the Bronx.
I still stayed in the Bronx. I left a certain part of the Bronx and I moved to the Riverdale section of the Bronx.
Okay.
And you know, for everybody in the Bronx, you'll know if you come into a couple of coins, and if you want to stay in the Bronx, you're gonna go to Riverdale.
Mm.
And you know, I was up there at 22 years old. You know what I mean? And I felt at that point, even after Stunt Butts in Hip Hop, that I was finally in the mix.
Mm. That you arrived. Yo, who shot the album cover for Stunt Butts in Hip Hop? You remember?
I don't remember offhand.
Now, who did you tell them you want to sit on this? You know, the way you wanted to do that and the pose.
No, they came around. They came around my block in Forest Projects, and we shot that in the basketball courts of my project, which was called the Blue Courts. So that's where that was shot at.
Mm.
Yeah.
Because it's funny because when you're doing something at that time, you don't even realize. Like people look back at it now, they say that's a classic album cover. Obviously, we went over it and what it stands for, but you know, it's funny to see how that's put together. You know what I mean?
Right.
Now, as we move forward, now what about like who are you hanging out with at that time too? Like meaning like, you know, like what about like Big Daddy Kane or Bismarck or you ever?
No,
like,
at this time, you know, it's mainly D.I.T.C. I'm hanging out with Showbiz and AG,
Fat Joe,
Lord Finesse, and Fat Joe. You know what I mean? OC wasn't around in '92. At '92, OC was a part of Organized Confusion.
Yes.
You know what I mean? So I'm hanging out with Showbiz, AG, Lord Finesse, and of course Fat Joe.
Actually, funny you say Fat Joe. Here we go. Or you got to flow, Joe.
That's right.
You made that, right?
That's right.
You know, I remember, this is what I love about life. And this is where you should be very, like, and I mean this, like, I'm just proud. I wish more people, I hope people think like this in hip-hop because our genre should not be a small-lived.
Correct.
You know, like I look at it this way. If you never drop anything ever again, your contributions should forever be appreciated.
Right.
That should be with anybody. Just like I always say this, Barry Manilow is touring right now. Ain't nobody like, yo, you know, like you washed. Like, no, they still going to see him.
Right.
You know, but I look at it like Fat Joe and who the fuck he is. I mean, let's be real, man. He is a living legend.
Of course.
I mean, and he's been able to do and still stay at like coming back with these hits. I feel like he has one in his pocket like every 2 years. Anyway.
Right.
Remember,
he got a #1 hit out right now.
Yeah, with Cardi B and this
yes,
crazy.
yes.
This guy's humongous.
No doubt.
I forgot his name. Anuela.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, but here's the thing: you brought him around. For people listening who may not know,
correct.
You brought
I'm
him
the
to
one that
about
put him on. No doubt.
5 labels, and they didn't even want to sign him.
Correct.
Break that down for people who may not know.
We went to PWL. I believe we went to Sony. I took him to.
And what were they saying? And they
weren't interested. I took him to for a 45 King wanted to sign him. You know, I took him to Jive Records. They passed, but finally, at some point, my manager at the time, Chris Lighty,
rest in peace.
Right, of course, rest in peace. He took Joe under his wing and he signed him to Relativity.
Yeah.
And then the rest is history.
Yeah, I mean, I think everything that came under the umbrella of Chris Lighty, was able to see.
And it's crazy because Red Alert was playing all of those promos.
Oh, they got a flow, Joe, right?
Right, but you know, Red and Chris was Violator.
Yeah.
So it all tied in.
Now, Sally got a 1-track mind. I know people ask this all the time. I'm sure they still ask this to you. Who the fuck is Sally?
Just a fictional chick, you know, from the Jacks or from around the way who, you know, values material things, you know, more than she values herself.
EPMD made one for who? Brenda? Remember? Is that Brenda?
I think so.
Not Brenda.
Sure.
It was somebody. I forgot. God, I remember EPMD. I remember Eric Sherman talking about a character like that.
Okay.
You know, but again, now you were moving around. Now you were touring at that time. Where you make like how was?
No, at that time I'm not touring, but that was part of the Stunt Butts in Hip Hop album.
Yeah. So
that was recorded maybe early '92. You know what I mean?
Now, when you think back to those times to today, what's the difference of making music now? I mean, you still love it. Your heart's still in it, you know. But what's the difference? I mean, obviously we know the budgets aren't there anymore. You have more control. Like honestly, like
Right.
Somebody who I feel like you're a very straight shooter. You put your heart into it. You speak the truth. You always been that way. You know what I mean?
Right,
Like
right.
unfiltered. I know you still love it because you wouldn't be doing it. You wouldn't
Right.
still be putting out projects.
Right.
But what's the difference of back then till now? You know what I mean?
I
Like-
think now, if you're a producer, it's just a lot easier. You know what I mean? The samplers have more time. You can work strictly on software, where back then it was just hardware. So just the tools are a lot easier now to create the music. You know what I mean? That's the main difference as far as being a producer. But with technology, it's just a lot of shortcuts now to get to the end result. Whereas back then you had to do a little more to get to the end result.
Yeah. You ever take a chance to celebrate some of your wins? Like, you go to like Hawaii for 2 weeks, or like you ever get a chance to
Of course.
Because some people feel like the reason I ask this for is some people actually
you gotta enjoy life.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
But some people think it's like, oh, I'm gonna wait till I get here. That may never come.
Right.
Like, what's you ever go?
I mean, look, I've been in the game 25 years.
Shit.
So shit, if I don't do it now, then when the fuck I'm gonna do it? You know what I mean?
so
Shit.
how did you unwind? Like go on a trip? Like is that something that
Yeah, go on a trip. Go overseas. Fall back for a week or two.
Disconnect, recharge.
Of course.
Yeah.
You need that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So.
Even like when you look at it now, like mental health is like a big thing now, where people going to therapy. Back then, nobody. I even think about our you're a little bit, maybe a little bit older than me, but I think about like our fathers. Good people, but I don't know how many of your fathers back then would ask actually how you doing. You know what I mean? How you feeling?
Right.
You know what I mean? Like it's like
Right.
kind of like man the fuck up.
Right.
And now it's like. I have a 20-year-old and I have a 5-year about to be a 5-year-old, and with the
Right.
5-year-old, you obviously hope to be a better parent from each kid.
Right.
But I want to try to ask that. You know what I'm saying? And you sometimes you grew up so quick, or you travel the world.
Right.
I don't know. I guess what I'm saying is, you ever feel like, it's traveling the world and living the life you live, like if you don't speak to your homie, or you don't speak to somebody, you think it's important to like talk to somebody or get shit off your chest, or get today is different. Back
Right.
then maybe it's bottled up, like because like you dealt with like a shady music labels at times.
Right.
Maybe that's just some shit you talked about with your friends. But now I feel like it's like almost like it's okay to go to therapy. But back then it wasn't. I mean, yeah. Would you ever see yourself in therapy?
No.
What about like even if you were married, like divorce therapy or something? Like not divorce therapy, like divorce.
If the hand called for it,
Yeah.
you know what I mean. If the hand called for it, then I would do it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean. Other than that, nah.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a tough thing. The reason why I asked for it too is because it's like we live in a different world now, and I know that like 25 plus years in this game, man. Shit, you need somebody to talk to.
I mean, if your career was filled with more lows than highs,
Yeah.
Mine has been a balance.
What's your most memorable moment, you would say, from back then?
I don't know, maybe winning that Grammy for the Fugees.
Mm-mm.
You know what I mean?
For people listening, let them know who may not know.
Right.
Okay, because what we're doing is
I produced the title track, the score
Mm.
of the Fugees' second album.
Mm.
You know what I mean? And winning a Grammy for that was rewarding on a lot of levels.
Where is that Grammy? You drinking Hennessy out of that joint?
All day. Nah, not no Hennessy though. Don Julio, 1942.
Oh, shit. Okay.
Let's go.
Don Julio.
1942.
Make sure you send the case.
Right.
Make sure you send the case to the homie.
Yeah.
Obviously we speak about working on new music, and now we got Dime Piece 2.
That's right.
Where did that come from? Like,
It's a continuation from the first Dime Piece.
yeah, but meaning like, what made you think of that label? I mean, not label, that title.
Kid Capri gave me the name.
Shouts to Kid Capri.
Yeah, he said, yo, you should call it the Dime Piece. And I was like, yo, I sat with it for a little while. He was like, yo, but spell it like, the first part of diamond, D-I-A. But, marinate on that D. And that's what I did. And I said, yo, I'm going to roll with that.
when I seen the DIAM, I was
Yeah.
like, it almost confused me, like with HOMME, like on like when Kanye was like, "It's Dior homie."
Right.
Not Dior homie, like the way he said. I was like, okay.
Yeah.
Now with Dime Piece, even now you got Dime Piece 2 out, right?
Right,
Now
right.
is that on like Spotify, iTunes, Tidal?
It's on all of the platforms.
Now here's the what I like to know.
Okay.
Is this Diamond D of his still feeling, or is it you feel like? Do you ever feel like you have to like what people like now? Because you know how some people like.
Oh no. This is all me. If any of my fans are familiar with the first Dime Piece, then you know the Dime Piece 2, which is a continuation of that. You know what I mean? I'm not gonna upset, the hundreds of thousands of fans that I got that's fucking with me already, and try to do some old new shit. But what I did was, inadvertently updated my sound. But that's just because I'm a competitive producer. So whether I was working on a new album or not, you still gotta stay competitive. But if you're a producer who has been around for at least a decade or two, you should have your own sound. You know what I mean? So all you can do is just enhance your own sound and just keep it modern.
You know, one thing that I don't think I asked you or we spoke about last time, but who was your inspiration coming up? You grew up in the Bronx, but
As far as what?
As far as hip hop, like who made you even want to?
As far as an MC, a DJ, or producer.
Who would that be? Oh, my bad. I'm saying. Well, let's start with as an MC.
Lord Finesse and Grand Poobah, because I was around them the most. I was around Finesse when he did his first album, and I was around Poobah a lot for the first recording of the Brand Nubian album.
It's funny that what you've been able to do with both of them, or do because
be that close.
Yeah,
right.
It's crazy to have that inspiration, and then that happened. Now, what about DJ?
Wow. Grandmaster Flash, my man DJ Supreme from South Bronx. DJ Rock and Ron from the South Bronx McKinley Projects. Theodore, he lived on 169th and Boston Road. I lived on 165th off Boston Road. So I was, as a little kid, I'm around all of these guys. They would come outside and DJ, set their equipment up. And, I might have been like 10 or 11 years old, and I just stood by the ropes all day and just try to just get a peek at what they were cutting. You know what I mean? And the break beats is what really pulled me into hip hop as a kid, Pete. You know what I mean? It wasn't really the MC. It was just those fucking records with the drums on.
Those break beats made me break dance, man.
Right.
Because I was able to give him the windmill with the break beat. And
right.
I was trying to. Man, I remember I can't break dance like that no more.
No doubt.
Unless I stretch out. I got to do hot yoga now. You know what I mean?
That's your origin.
I loved breakdancing. I loved breakdancing growing up.
Yeah.
It's funny too because I used to. Is this story that rolls around for people who know of my history, but Just Blaze, somebody that I feel like could do anything.
Right.
Like this guy is super talented, man.
Yeah.
I mean, of course he could breakdance too. Who the fuck knew? And he was battling Dallas Penn and Combat, but they were doing some top heavy shit.
Right.
And they didn't know. None of them knew. It's like 2011, maybe 2010.
Okay.
And none of them knew that.
He went down to the floor?
No, Just Blaze did, yeah. Did a head spin.
Okay, oh, shit.
I was like, oh, shit. And so
who knew?
So when he moved away from them, I tapped him on the back, like kind of like, yo, 1 second, man.
Right.
And I hit a windmill into a hand, like a hand. I spin it on my hand, turned up, and then went back into a windmill, and then went back on my head. And then the whole crowd was like, oh, shit. And so me and Just, we have battled a couple of times, but I remember Combat and everybody went, what the fuck? Like, we didn't know you had to break dance.
You and Just connected on that level.
Yeah.
Right.
So we done like 3 or 4 battles. So some of them were worse than, some of them were good. But the point I'm making is that's because I'm not, like, I've learned as you get older, like, if you don't stretch, it's kind of like anything. Like, even though you get on a bike, you could ride it again.
Correct.
But the shit may hurt your legs the next day.
Yeah.
But when we think about, I think we spoke about who inspired you as a DJ, who inspired you as an MC. Now,
Get to the producer
yeah,
part.
who inspired you as a producer?
Oh man.
Because again, I'm gonna say this way before you even go. I want to say this to the internet's listen. Diamond D is underrated. Anybody listening, I want you to go and check his production credits. I'm sure there has to be a site that could list a lot of production he has done. And I promise you, he's one of those dudes, and that's what I love about you is he's one of those dudes that you could be like, oh shit, I didn't know he produced that.
Right.
Well, yes, he did. ASCAP should know. You know.
Yeah. Some of my mentors or inspirations in production were, of course, Marley Marl.
Legendary.
You know, everything he did at Cold Chillin' up until the Def Jam stuff with LL Cool J. The Bomb Squad.
Keith Shockley.
Oh, man. Keith Shockley, Hank Shockley.
Yeah, Hank Shockley.
Eric Sadler. Man, yo, I love them guys, yo. Those dudes made me step my own shit up. Let me tell you, Pete. Yo, the song America's Most Wanted by Ice Cube.
Yeah.
That one joint right there changed my whole shit. Because, you know, I thought I was nice. And I was nice, but listening to the way they put that particular song together made me step my whole shit. I got a lot of respect for the Bomb Squad. I can't forget the 45 King. His earlier work with Queen Latifah. A King and Queen creation. That one joint right there, major. The shit he did with Chill Rob G, Lord Lakim Shabazz. You know, I can go on and on. You know, Prince Paul with the De La Soul shit. The Jungle Brothers, done by the Forces of Nature. That whole album. All of these things help shape me to record Stunts, Blunts, and Hip Hop in the manner that I did.
Isn't it crazy that some of these people have become your peers, man?
Yeah.
You know?
Exactly.
It's crazy, and I'm glad. That's why I've always loved. I've always loved podcasts from the early beginning, even when people thought it was cute. Now it's just like having an iPhone.
Informative.
But I liked it because you know what? People listen, and sometimes they don't get to hear, how much they inspired you or how much, love you have for them, or maybe if they were just a piece of shit. Some people need to know. When I think about...
Oh, I can't leave out my man Jazzy J.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Of course. You know, he's the dude who took me under his wing. You know what I mean? His production on Suicide Busy Bee, his scope of drum programming, just to come up under his mentorship. You know, he's the guy who directly shaped me. But I was listening to other stuff as I just mentioned. But I can't leave out Jazzy J.
Shouts to Jazzy J.
Of course.
Yo,
of course.
Diamond D, when you think about who he's listening to today, there's obviously you're doing things with terminology. You've done things with static. You still move with a lot of different people.
Of course.
But even like, who's some of who are you listening to?
I'm listening to the Dime Piece too right now. You know, I got Twister on there. I got Afro on there.
Hold on. How'd you get Twister, man?
Oh, I just reached out to him. I get a Twister, yo. I'm working on a new joint. I need you, fam. And he said, yo, D, shoot me the beat. It's all love. You know, I got him. I got Afro. I got him and Afro on the same track. Afro held his own. You know, I got a joint with Fat Joe, Raekwon, and Fred the Godson. Of course, Survive or Die.
Yo, Fred the God, you know what I mean? He's he's nasty, man.
Of course.
And I actually got to have him up here soon.
I'm going to holler at him. I'm going to tell him to come up here.
I just, it's funny, man. I feel like he's another one where I feel like maybe he didn't go to that next level yet.
Well,
but he is.
I don't know Fred's business, but hopefully he'll get picked up by a major, even though in 2019 you don't need a major. You can do it independently as long as you got a strong following.
Yeah.
But I mean, Fred gets busy.
That's what I'm saying.
No doubt.
He's nasty.
No doubt.
So on Dime Piece 2, Afro,
Twister, Fat Joe,
Raekwon. So how did the Raekwon track?
They're all on the same track, Pete.
Wait.
Survive or Die.
Mm-hmm. Talk to me.
Yeah. So they're on that track. I got a joint with David Banner. I got a joint with Exhibit and Styles P. I got the Boot Camp Click on there. You know what I mean? I got my new artist out of Harlem called Snooze. You know what I mean? I got Raheem Devon on there.
Raheem Devon.
You know what I mean? It's just one of those albums. You know what I mean? So
Now, when you were making this,
Right.
is that like? Did you think of like who I would want on this? Is that how? Because you're a producer as well. You
yes, I did. I didn't want to get anybody I used on, obviously, on
know? On Dime Piece One, yep.
You know what I mean? But yeah, I thought that out.
Now Raekwon, man, it's like think about how many years he's been. One thing I love is like you think about a group.
Same as me.
Yeah.
Maybe 1 year later. I'm
Yeah.
92. He's 93.
What's your relationship with Ray, man?
Oh man, Ray's the homie.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? When I told him, you know, I was working on my new album, you know what I mean? He said, "Yo, D, just shoot me the track. We get busy." You know what I mean? And maybe about 2 weeks ago, I shot him a beat, and he said him and Ghostface are gonna jump on it. So I'm kind of excited about that. Just to be in the game 25 plus years and still being able to reach out, you know, to artists that are still making waves right now. You know what I mean? The same thing with Snoop Dogg. You know what I mean? I only met Snoop one time in person, and that might have been like maybe 9 years ago. And last year, I hit him up like, "Yo, I'm working on my new album. You know, I'd love to have you aboard." He said, "Yo, Diamond, shoot me the beat." I shot him the first joint. You know, it took him a while to holler back, so I said, "You know what? Let me go in the lab, make something else for him." I did that. I shot it back to him, and 2 weeks later, Snoop Dogg shot me back his vocals. That's one of my favorite joints on the album. It's called "Turn It Up." You know what I mean? So, you know, you got to put yourself out there, Pete.
You know, that's a great point you just brought up because you've been around a long time. You a stand-up dude. You know, like I said before, I'll say it again: a straight shooter, somebody that just shoots straight from the hip. How hard is it? Because a lot of artists, if he didn't go back to you, a lot of artists don't know how to make that transition. Like kind of like, fuck that, he don't fuck with me. Not saying about only Snoop, just in general. Right. I see it, I hear it all the time. You know, people sometimes don't want to do the follow-up.
Well, don't take it personally. Like, I'm an artist too. And, you know, it might be other artists that I fuck with, and they might send me something to rhyme on, and I might be like, "Yo, send me something else." You know what I mean? It don't mean that I don't want to fuck with you. I just don't like this track. You know what I mean? So, no, don't take it personally all the time. You know, because we're all artists, and you know, if the beat moves you, a motherfucker gonna jump on there. And I learned that dealing with Snoop. You know, because I sat there for like 2 months, like, damn, why fam ain't hitting me back? And I said, you know what? Let me make something else for him. I took it upon myself to do that. I could have just said, you know, fuck it, he ain't fucking with me, and you know, had all these feelings, which would have amounted to nothing. But I went in there, I went back in the lab, made something else, I made something new, and I shot it to Snoop. And boom, a week later, he's on the gram rhyming to it. You know what I mean? So it taught me that, you know, don't take everything so personal. And I'm an artist myself. You know what I mean? So I get it. You know, if you get a track, if you shoot somebody a track and it moves them, they're gonna jump on it.
That shit is beautiful. I love stories like that. Now, with Timepiece, are you going to go on a tour? Are you going to go international? Are you going to, you know, you have any plans
for
Timepiece too?
There's a lot of artists on a Timepiece too. So the only way I can really go on a tour is if, you know, I plan it out and get some sponsorships in line and things of that nature. It's not a Diamond D album where I'm rhyming on every track.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
You know what I mean?
But I'm sure you'll be doing some tour dates soon or some DJing soon.
Yeah, well,
you have anything else?
I'm going over to Europe in December and January.
Okay, Christmas time and
right. You know, along with Large Pro.
Shouts to Large Pro.
AG and Sadat X.
You know, I remember one time hearing that you. I got to remember. I had to write this down because I don't even fucking because you're the guy that handles all this audio stuff and producing stuff, but. I remember one time you said that you were one of the first to put a sample on a Speed 45 or something like that?
Yeah.
What the fuck does that mean?
Well, you know, albums play on Speed 33.
Okay.
Right?
Okay, that's regular, like, 12-inch vinyl, right? 33 usually used to say on that, right?
Correct. And there's a song on my first album called A Day in the Life with the Brand Nubians, obviously. And that's the record that I had to put on on speed 45, which meant you just sped it up. You know what I mean? So in that respect, that was like 1991, early 92.
I remember hearing also that you like to spin records backwards. That's how you got some of your a sample one time or something, or spinning it backwards to see what it was saying, or you know what I'm talking about? Like, you know, remember you saying that you would spin it backwards to get like a
Right
to hear it different, or
well, you know what? Again, shouts out to the Bomb Squad. There's a song called Terminator X Valley of the Jeep Beats. And they sampled, I don't want to say what they sampled, but they sampled something backwards. So anyone who has that vinyl, if you spin it backwards, you'll hear the sample in there. You know what I mean? And that might have been like, I don't know, 1989, 90. You know what I mean? So again, shouts out to the Bomb Squad.
You know, one thing I know a lot of artists that have been around a long time. One thing that is special is the advances and the money that we were getting from the labels. I mean, there was people getting some big checks.
Yeah,
and they don't give those like that anymore.
Correct.
How hard was that for you to navigate, like transition to find a way to do it differently? Also, in the same time, think about it. Even producing used to be in the studio with a lot of people. Now you could just send shit. You live both. You live both those
technology.
Lives. Yeah, but you adapted to it. Some people.
You know what? Check it out, Pete. Because of technology, that's one of the reasons why labels don't really get big advances no more. Because from a label's perspective, why should I spend $100,000 recording your album when you can have the top-notch Pro Tools set up for about $800?
Mm.
And then you record at your leisure in your living room or in your bedroom or wherever you have it set up at. You know what I mean? So technology played a large role into that because, like I said, we don't have to go into these big studios no more. All you have to do is just find a capable engineer and you can get busy.
Do you remember getting a big check from the label and go and buy something for that you couldn't buy when you were young? I know
gold chains and rings, shit like that.
Kicks.
But
you always stayed with
shit
kicks
like that.
You always stayed with kicks. It's. I feel like we grew up. It's funny, man, because I don't know. I don't know what you think it is, but I feel like we grew up in New York, like Brooklyn, Bronx, same shit.
Right, same shit.
And
the rotten apple.
We would look good and sometimes not be good.
Yeah.
I always tell people, focus on being good as much as you focus on looking good.
Right.
Like, you always get fresh from back in the day to now.
Right.
Even though I remember, like Jordans or whatever it was, if it was Jabos, if it was a cross colors Benetton polo.
Right.
And it's funny because I see some people and I'm like, damn, man, like when and maybe other places do this, but in New York, I remember we were fresh to fucking death.
Yeah.
But motherfuckers will never know if you had a bad day unless you told them.
Right.
You know? Cause, and it's still that way.
No doubt.
Think about social media.
Yeah.
Motherfuckers see you in Hawaii, you be like, yo, what up?
Right.
What up, baby? And people like, oh, he living his best life.
Right. But you might be on your mother's couch.
Yeah.
And all that.
Yeah.
Right.
You like social media?
Of course.
Yeah.
Of course. If you're an artist, it's right. It's in your hands.
You direct to consumer.
Exactly.
Direct to your fans, man. It's great. It's still great to see, you putting out stuff and people still wanting to hear it.
Yeah.
And you being creative, 25 plus years, of still putting stuff out, still touring.
Right.
Still DJing. Is there one that I know you mentioned this a bunch of times before, of like that when you are a producer, you put on your producer hat, when you're an MC, you put on, but is there one that you favor more or to this day still love to do better? Like, cause I seen you, didn't you do like 45s spinning?
Yeah, I do 45s, yeah. My first love is being a DJ.
Yeah. A record player, right? Did Mom say you bought 2 record players?
I bought 2 1200s. And I brought them home. Yeah, and my mom said, yo, You spent $1,000 on 2 record players. I'll
Don't
never
ever
forget
ask.
that shit.
Don't ever ask me for anything ever again.
Right. They were actually about a little over $800, but the point was made.
Look at you now, man.
So DJing is my first love. And then, if you know the history of producers, most hip hop producers started off as DJs, whether it's Timbaland, Q-Tip, Dr. Dre, Pete Rock, High Tech.
High Tech's another underrated, man. That dude is nasty. Knots is nasty.
Havoc.
Too.
I mean, I'm leaving, DJ Quick.
Yeah.
Everybody starts, most DJs start off and then become producers. So that's my first love, producing. Well, actually DJing is, but then it became producing, and then the MCing thing I just did secondary.
Yeah.
Right.
Clark Kent.
Of course.
Yeah. He mastered that.
Mm-hmm. LES.
Yeah. Even
Alchemist.
Alchemist. Yeah. I seen Alchemist last week, man.
Where at?
Philadelphia. He was filming the Fuck That's Delicious shit with Action Bronson.
Of course.
He's a TV guy now too. This guy.
Yeah.
He's living.
Shout out to Alchemist.
You
former member of the Hooligans.
Oh yeah.
Soul Assassins.
Oh yeah.
That's right.
As we wind this episode down, thinking about.
That's right. Nah. I know the history.
Thinking about East Coast, right?
Yeah.
What was your feelings about West Coast when you were coming up, making music?
Listen, that first NWA album, that shit was banging. And that's my first really introduction to the West Coast. The Egyptian Lover stuff, I really wasn't into that electro hip hop. It just reminded me of a spinoff of the Soul Sonic Force, which it's no disrespect to the Soul Sonic Force, of course, with Africa Bambaataa, but I really got into West Coast from those first 2 NWA albums. You know what I mean? So
you ever got a chance to meet Easy?
Never. Oh, I did meet Easy. I met him one time, maybe like 1992, at some festival in L.A. But we didn't really chop it up. But I remember, meeting him like, yo, what's up, in passing.
Who's somebody that you met? It doesn't even have to be a rapper, but you ever met that you met and that was real random for you? Sometimes you be in a room, an actor being there, who was a fan of you that you never knew until they came up to you and told you.
I forgot it. His name Gary Oldham. He's an actor.
Could be, I don't know, Gary Olson maybe.
Oldham, I don't know, but Common posted a clip, and that actor, he was actually rhyming some of the lyrics, to one of my joints.
Common?
No, Gary. His name is Gary Oldham. I don't know.
Yeah,
I could be off, but in that one instance, that was kind of cool.
You had Anthony Mason,
of course,
at your
best kept secret.
Yo.
Rest in peace.
Rest in peace to Big Mace, man.
Right.
He was what New York is missing, man, for the Knickerbockers, man.
Queens, Q-Borough.
Oh, yeah. Kind of, elbow you in your face,
Right, hold that.
Sit the fuck down, man.
That's right.
How special was that shoot, man, that video shoot?
It was special to me. I'm a big basketball head, so, the point that the director at that time, I believe his name was David Mays, he was actually able to get Anthony Mason for that video. I was very appreciative of that.
Yeah, I'll give you a story real quick.
Right.
We're in A3C.
Mm-hmm.
Anthony Mason's across the street. Combat's like, yo, Pete, that's Anthony Mason. I'm like, shit, that is.
Right.
He goes, let's go say what's up to him.
Right.
And we go over to him. He's like, yo, what's up, Mace? He's like, Combat Jack. And he's like, yeah, how you doing? And he's like, okay. And then we were looking up at him like this fucking. And I was like, I looked at Combat, I hit his elbow. I'm like, yo, he's like, all right, man, peace. And I was like, yo, he's like, nah, he ain't fucking with us. I'm like, yo, man, he don't know who the fuck we are.
Right.
What the fuck, Like, that's one thing I always enjoyed about dude, because I remember when we went to A3C in 2010.
I should have said, yo, that Best Kept Secret video was hot.
Yeah.
That would have been it right there.
We should have used something to kill the awkwardness.
Yeah.
But, shouts to Mace. Rest in peace, man.
Of course.
Listen, Diamond, man, I'm finally glad that we were able to sit down. I know we were going back and forth.
No doubt, we made it happen, yo.
You know, and D.I.T.C is out. D.I.T.C 2.
Yeah.
And not only D.I.T.C 2, I want people to go search the catalog of Diamond D. Go on to Spotify. Go on to iTunes.
Right.
You know,
or just Google.
Go on to Tidal. Yeah, Google.
Right,
yeah.
right.
You know, go and check out. You know, this is. I'll be honest with you, D. This is what I love about these type of episodes, because people listen who may know of you, maybe they learn something new, or maybe people who didn't know you know at all, and it gives them, you know, think about it, gives them the idea to Google, to look,
right,
and they're like, yo, oh, this is a dope song, and then a song that you know could have been you forgot about all years ago,
right, exactly,
becomes a favorite of somebody else's.
Exactly.
That's, you know, music is weird the way and
right.
like changed a lot of how people receive it. You know, but it's funny because even like my daughter, she'll be listening to stuff and then she'll be like, oh, you know about that? I'm like, come on, man, this song came out 20, 30 years ago.
To touch on that real quick before we go, I think this is the 20th anniversary of Mos Def's first album, Black on the Hand Side. And a lot of people didn't know that I produced hip-hop on that album.
Really?
You know, no, they didn't. But just to touch on what you said about, you know, me producing songs that people might not be familiar with, you know what I mean? And that's definitely one of them.
Can I let people know who? I mean, we went over a few Fugees. We spoke about Sally Got a One Track Mind. We spoke about Brand Nubian. Punks Jump Up to Get Beat Down. What's some other ones that people may not know?
Busta Rhymes, the Busta Bus remix.
Yep.
Busta Rhymes, What the Fuck You Want? Pharaoh Monch, The Light. You know what I mean?
Mos Def.
Mos Def, hip hop. You know what I mean? Again, the Pharaoh Monch, the
Fat
Truth,
Joe.
The Truth, the Ass, Fat Joe. I produced damn near his whole album, the first album, Flow Joe. I mean, you know, the Fugees. I'm leaving out people.
I know. Well, whenever you mention, you leave people out.
Queen Latifah.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? KRS-One.
Yeah, the Teacher.
Cypress Hills, House of Pain, Exhibit, The Far Side. You know what I mean? Oh, man.
Internets.
Right.
Man, we could go on for fucking ever.
Yeah.
But, you know.
And the D.I.T.C. stuff,
yeah,
of course.
A lot of digging into crazy shit,
of course.
Man. You know, shouts to...
Rest in peace to my man Big L.
Yep. Rest in peace, Big
you know
L.
What I mean? Of course.
Shouts to the whole digging into crates
crew,
family.
Lord Finesse, Showbiz, AG.
DJ
Premier, Fat Joe, OC, Buck Wild.
Internets, listen, go check the catalog. Go check, like I said, Spotify, Tidal, SoundCloud, Apple iTunes, Google, the one and only, the legendary, the underrated but very appreciated Diamond D.
Yes, sir.
Blessing, my brother.
No doubt, Pete.
Cheers.